Being able to control the game separates you from other players because you force people to play the way you want. You force them to play with the speed you want, you force them to play in the places that you want, and you have control over the direction of the game. So we're going to go through 2 to 3 simple tips that will help you control the game much better, and this can be applied straight away. So straight after this video, maybe watch it before your training session, you can go to your match, you can go to your training session and apply these tips straight away, and let me know in the comments how it goes. I want to see the feedback, and we're going to give you these tips so that you don't have to think about it too much. You can just go and try it and try and improve straight away. So if we look at the situation that we've got here, this is obviously different than the 11v11 pitch I normally use. We're just going to go through a little drill. So the aim of the drill is to go from this side to this side by moving through the middle. Okay, so we're connecting one phase of play to the other phase of play. And this is very similar to what midfielders have to do. So if this is the midfield, you have to get the ball from the defense, play it to the attack. So it's quite similar to what you're going to do in a real game. So what we're going to do is that we are going to imagine that we're just in this yellow circle here. Forget the other side for a second, forget these areas. Let's just focus on this one just so we can really have an understanding of what controlling the game means. So the first tip we're going to go over is something called controlling the tempo. And our tempo can also mean like speed, intensity of the game. But when I think of tempo, what I really think about is how can you change the speed of the match? So sometimes we're going to be playing very, very slow football side to side. And now your job as a midfielder is saying, how can I change slow to fast with one pass or me dribbling? And how can I use that energy and give that off to the rest of my team? Okay, so let's just imagine we're moving the ball side to side. Okay, and another quick thing I want to talk about is in lots of my videos, the main thing I want to say is as a football player, your first job is obviously to do as well as you can, but also you have to think, how can I make the other team and the other players uncomfortable? Okay, so if you go to a striker's movement, you might not always get the ball. A striker is one of the hardest positions. You're not always going to get the ball. But that doesn't mean that when you don't have the ball, you just stand there and do nothing. Your job is, okay, how can I make this guy uncomfortable? Because when that ball comes to me, I want to have some sort of advantage. Maybe this guy's stronger than you, faster than you, so I have to either get in his head with tactics that we won't discuss in this video, or I have to get him in positions where I'm better. So this is moving in and around this area, and we spoke about movement in the last couple of videos. You can start offside, whatever. That's not the point. But what I'm saying is, on a bigger picture, when we talk about a team, your job as a midfield player is, how can I use my passing and my dribbling to get these guys into positions where they don't want to be? Because once this team's uncomfortable, then that's when you can really start using your skills and your advantages to really get over the line. Okay, so let's just imagine that we're passing the ball side to side, and this is defenders doing really well. We can't really use the players on the ends, and we're passing the ball side to side, and we're struggling to get through. Okay, these guys are shifting, forcing us to pass it backwards. They're shifting again, forcing us to pass to the side, shifting again, forcing us to pass to this side, then just go back and forth and back and forth, and they're trying to win the ball. Okay, when we're playing the ball slowly, what we're really sending a message to the other team is saying that you guys are comfortable. You guys are in this position and you guys are set. We could do this all day. You hear that a lot in commentary. They could pass around for all day and nothing's going to happen. Okay? You don't want to be that player. You don't want to be that player that can just play it slowly, doesn't really do anything. Okay? So now what controlling the tempo is saying, how can I change this slow build up to fast passes? Okay? And this is where you have to take a step back. There is no point of you being a midfield player and just doing this, focusing on this pass, then focusing on this pass, then watching this person do this. Keep watching. Don't just keep watching the game and seeing, oh, this is what's happening. Always be thinking ahead. Okay, and we spoke about in the last video too. Think ahead. What can happen next? So let's say, just for the last time, we're passing side to side. We're passing slowly. Let's say the ball's over here now. Okay, these guys are defending. They're in their shape. You don't have the ball. You're not going to get the ball until maybe 2 passes later. So what your thinking should be is, how can I switch the speed of the game? Because this guy's going to go slow, this guy's going to go slow. How can I switch the speed of the game? Because what that's going to do is make these guys uncomfortable. They're used to the game being slow right now. So if I get it quickly, then that's when they're going to be thinking, okay, we have to do something different. They're going to lose their head a little bit. So now let's look at our options. Let's say this person is passing the ball here. We're going to play the ball here or here. This is where you have to rely on these guys' movement a little bit as well. And now you could say to him, you could say to this guy, okay, come into this space. I'm going to zip that ball into that area. Okay, so let's just see what happens. This is going slowly. And now this player, you're thinking, how can I make a fast pass? So these guys are going to shift. Okay, now this is when you can communicate. You can say to your player, right, when get in that area, or maybe you guys make a plan before, get in that area. Okay, ball's moving slowly. Slowly, as the ball is being passed, you run here, zip that ball in, quick, with speed. That has shifted the speed of the game from slow to fast. Now let's look at what's happened here. Okay, first thing that we've done is broken this line. I spoke about passing between the lines before. We have broken that line. These guys, they're not out of the game, but now they're uncomfortable. This defender was expecting the pass to be here, and suddenly we've got this guy in a 1v1. Yes, these guys can still defend, so it's not a perfect situation, but you've now given your teammate a chance to go and do something. Just because of that switching from slow to fast, something's happened. Now what this means is that going slowly is important because it gets these guys where you want them to be. It controls where you want them to be. So this is what controlling the game is about. You're playing slowly so you can get these guys into that position. Then you make that decision, we're going to go fast. So it could be we're going to go slow, slow, these guys are set. Maybe you play a pass over the top. It doesn't have to be on the ground. You could maybe play a quick pass over the top, get these guys back here again, and break that pattern. And this can be applied on a bigger level too. Let's say we're again building up, we've got our zones now. We're going to be playing the ball very slowly around the back. These guys are going to shift. And what this is saying to the other team is that, okay, you guys are comfortable now. You guys are comfortable. You're shifting from side to side as we play the ball. They think that they're controlling us. This is when now you have the opportunity. Okay, maybe it's even the centre back plays that ball quickly. Now it's about, okay, now we're on the front foot because the ball's been played in. You play quick passes. So you're transitioning from slow to fast because it gets the other team thinking differently. So when you go into training or when you go into a match, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about if the ball's moving slow, 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 nice and around the back, nice and boring football. This is where you say, okay, I'm going to get the ball. When I get the ball, I'm thinking differently. I'm thinking about how can I play these quick passes. So what that means is that you have to be looking forward. You have to be looking everywhere on the pitch. You can't just be looking at where the ball is and saying, yeah, it looks so nice. You have to think, where can I play that pass so the game changes? All right, so when you go in, let's just imagine you're going to training now. You should be looking in this direction. You should be looking in this direction, always scanning, saying, can I play a quick pass? If the ball comes into me, if we play that game of what's next, can I maybe tell this guy to run and play that quick pass? Because when you're thinking ahead like that, the other team are going to struggle because they're not inside your head. They don't know what you're thinking. So if you play that quick pass, you've caused trouble for them. And that's all we can control. In this position, you can't score. You can't play the ball through 21. All you can control is this next pass and saying, can I make these guys uncomfortable? Because what that's going to do is that energy is going to go through the rest of your team and you're going to maybe create something. And that's why so many times when we see these massive build-up goals that go all the way to the other side, it starts with a pass like this because you just quickly play that pass. That energy goes to the rest of the team. Because you made the other team uncomfortable, you can go and do something. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is basically the opposite of what we just said. Control of the tempo doesn't just mean speeding the game up. It can also mean slowing the game down. Okay, we're not going to go through any like build-up passages or anything like that. I've just got the teams in the middle. Let's just imagine the game is going back and forth, back and forth. It's like a basketball match almost, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What this means is that no one has control over the game. You're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So what your job here is, as a midfield player, if your team's not having anything good happen, let's say you're going forwards, you lose the ball, you come back, and nothing's happening out of that. If it's working for your team, keep it going. But if it's not working, this is where you can say, okay, when I get the ball, how can I slow the game down? All right? Maybe this means putting your foot on the ball, not playing one touch, really slowing the game down. Instead of dribbling, maybe you just go back and pass it back to centre back, let him pass it here, and just calm the team down. Instead of sending this high energy to your team, just tell them to calm down. And you can tell them by the way you play the ball. Instead of playing these fast passes all throughout the team, get the ball, slow it down, maybe turn backwards. Sometimes that's okay, right? Because you're slowing the game down. You're not slowing the game down just to keep it at that and just slow the game. You're slowing the game down because you want to speed it up again, but you want to speed it up again so that you're in control. Because if we're just going back and forth and back and forth, yes, the game's fast, yes, a lot of stuff is happening, but you're not in control of it. Once you slow the game down, what you're doing is you're getting this team back where you want them, and then you're saying, I'm going to speed it up, but I'm going to speed it up when I want to. So that's the two sides of controlling the tempo. It can be going from slow, getting the ball, then playing them fast passes into the spaces so that you make these guys uncomfortable, so that you break the lines of the opposition. Because if we play that fast ball into here, we've just broken two lines. These guys are not out of the game, but now they have to run back. But Control of the tempo also could mean I've got the ball, the game's going very, very fast. When I get it, let's just slow it down. Let's just slow it down. Okay, and the couple clips we're going to show you, it's not always about passing as well. Sometimes it can be if we're playing slow passes, I get the ball, I'll quickly dribble. That can also be possible too, because as a midfield player, your job isn't just a pass, it's just a dribble. And so I know I spoke about Vitinha, but we're going to show a couple clips of Caicedo for Chelsea. He gets the ball, quickly dribbles, and then just changes the whole game. It goes from slow, boring build up to attacking football. Now, the next tip is very, very simple, but that doesn't mean that you should just look at it, think, oh, this is easy, and just not think about it again. Really try and understand what I'm saying here and try and apply it, because once you understand this, you will be a lot better. Okay, so this tip is about always being an option. Now, football's most famous thing, I think, really and truly, is or are, let me get everyone in the right position, are triangles. I think this is drilled in every single country. You hear triangles, triangles, triangles. Always be connected to your team. And even in the thumbnail of this video, I drew a triangle. And now there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's the right way to think. You should always be thinking, how can I connect myself to my team? You don't want to be standing in the corner over here. You want to think, how can I get in that area so I can connect to my team? And that's fine to think. But let's really get into why. Why is this important? Because let's imagine that you've got your triangle over here. You could pass the ball around for days in this triangle. That doesn't mean anything. When it really becomes useful is saying, okay, we've got the team here, we're putting them under pressure. Let's pass around in our shape, in our triangle. Let's move around so that we can create overloads, so that we can dominate the game, and then we can find space somewhere else and then switch that pass. Or that doesn't have to be a massive switch. It could be a pass in between the lines here. Let's move these guys around and cause a bit of nervousness in our team. Again, going back to making them uncomfortable, moving them around, and then when it's important, we switch that play. So what we're going to go over is a couple clips of Rodri and just a couple situations on the tactics board with Rodri. So let's imagine we're going back to this game now. We are in a situation where we're on the left-hand side and the red team are thinking, let's really trap them in. Let's go right here, and they've left this guy free. And you're now standing, let's say you're standing over here. First thing I want to say to you is, are you in the right position? Probably not. You want to be an option first of all. But why do you want to be an option? You don't want to be an option just to stand there. You don't want to just stand there, get the ball, and do nothing different or nothing special. What you want to do is look at where the space is and find that it's over here. Right? The space is over here. This guy's left him, and now you have to be an option so that you can switch the ball. Because if you do nothing and you go back, it doesn't matter if you're an option. You can be an option and stand right here. But if you're going to go back to him, you're not doing anything different. You have to be an option and switch the play or play somewhere else. And switching the play doesn't really have to be going from left to right. One of the best pieces of advice I heard given to me was changing direction doesn't mean doing a 180. Changing direction could be something as simple as receiving the ball this way and just turning that way, or receiving the ball this way and turning that way. Change direction does not mean go back this way. Right? It's the same thing with switching the play. It doesn't just mean getting the ball and playing it over here. It means find the space and play the ball in that area. So that's why you have to be an option, so that you can be that person to link the play. Right? Because this guy, he can't pass the ball here. Right? There's traffic. There's traffic. Maybe this guy wants to come in, and now this guy's marked. You can't switch the play. Right? You can't switch. There's no one there. But you can still change the direction of the game. You can say, okay, this guy can't pass it, so I'm going to pass it. That's why you have to be an option. You have to be an option so that you can link plays together. Right? And this is different than controlling the tempo. Because you guys could play slow football here, that doesn't really matter. You have to be there in the first place. Right? If these guys are standing in such good positions, that's only possible if you come here and make something happen. Alright, so there's two things to think about here. First thing, can I be an option? Can I find people on my team and link them together? Right, so they could be forming triangles. If you go back to the big pitch in a second, we've got like our goalkeeper and our centre back here. It could be, can I just come in and link these guys together? Right, link the defense to the attack. Could be anything like that. The second thing I want you to think about is, where will I change the direction of the game to make something happen? Because like I said again, if you come into this area and you find yourself in a really good position, that doesn't mean anything if you don't really make something happen out of it. Right? And what I mean by that is, can you find space and say, okay, this space is open, this guy's an open space. Sometimes he won't be, but sometimes he will be. That's your job to try and see. So if I get the ball, my first thought is I'm switching the play. That could happen. Or this guy could be marked, so I can't switch the play. But this guy's got the ball here. Let's try and take it away from pressure and try and switch it over here. Maybe that doesn't work, but I get the ball back again. Then I think, okay, is this guy open? No, he's not. Can I play a long ball into here? So always be thinking, where could I go with this? Don't just go back where you came from. Be an option so you can change the way the game's being played. So those are the two tips we're going to talk about in this video. And the last thing I want to mention is something to do with mentality and bravery. So when you play on a football pitch, the number one guarantee is that you are going to mess up. Professional players mess up, youth players mess up, everyone messes up. I messed up so many times on a football pitch, probably more than you guys ever will because you're going to be better. But I've messed up so many times. And the one thing I wish I heard when I was younger is that it doesn't matter if you mess up. It really doesn't matter. You shouldn't be thinking in games, I've messed up, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? Am I going to get in trouble? Is the coach not going to play me? Are my parents going to be upset? That doesn't matter. What you should think about is what can I do next? You made that mistake. Maybe you've tried to be an option, you tried to play a fast pass, you tried to control the tempo, you've hit the ball out, or you've lost the ball and they've scored. That could happen, but that's okay. If you learn from it, that's okay. If you continue to make the same mistakes again and again and again and put your head down, that's a problem. If you make a mistake, okay, and you get upset, but you learn from it, then that mistake is a good thing. That mistake is amazing because it showed you, okay, maybe I need to do something different. Maybe my advice is terrible, right? But if you don't go in the pitch and try and make mistakes, you're not going to know that. You're going to be in your head thinking again and again and again, okay, I can't make mistakes. I can't make mistakes. I can't make mistakes. And then you're never going to do anything. All right. So what this really means is that if you make a mistake and you try something new on a football pitch, whether it's a skill completely different in this video, maybe you try in dribbling, maybe you try to do a skill and you mess up, that is okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. What I would say is focus on what you can control. What you control is what happens next. The next time I get the ball, let's try and do 5% better. Let's just try and do better. So in terms of this video, maybe you become an option. All right, this guy's open, and you switch the ball. Right, that's what you want to do. Maybe you could get out. If I'm a coach, what I'm looking at is saying, I'm impressed that this person got the ball and thought about doing that. Because we can work on that pass. Right, that pass can be practiced, that pass can be fine. But the problem is people don't even do this in the first place. People don't notice that. This is the impressive thing, the fact that you notice that that player is even there. The passing we can work on later. But if you as a player feel bad about thinking, oh, I messed up, the coach is going to be mad I kicked the ball out, then you're going to stop trying these things. But these things are the things that make you special as a football player. So that's my little ending that I wanna give in this video. Of course, take these tips and try and apply them straight away. If you've got any feedback in the comments, let me know. Let me know any videos you want me to make. Let me know if you found anything that you disagreed with. I'm open to feedback, so please let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.